show.
I saw you in '81 on the Mob Rules tour. It was just amazing.
It was. That was with Vinny.
And that album holds a special place in my heart because it helped fuel a lot of my rebellious youth.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
It was really very good.
Why don't we try that, Eric?
Yeah. We try. Like I told you last time, I mean, a lot of guys were listening to Journey. I mean, I liked Journey too at the time. But I mean, you know, they were the guys getting the girls, and we couldn't get the girls. We listened to Black Sabbath because we were angry.
Because we couldn't get them either.
We were angry, and songs like Neon Nights were just like, yeah, it's giving me power.
That's right. That's exactly what that band always was, and that's what all the bands that I've been in from Sabbath onward have been that, because that was such a great part of my life that a lot of that incorporated itself into what DIO became. I think DIO always became this conglomeration of Sabbath and Rainbow.
Yeah.
It always became that because I insisted upon the strength of it and also insisted upon the melody of it. That's one of the things that always attracted Tony to me as a singer and as a writer, because he loved musicality and he wasn't getting it from any other source other than me, and that's why we had such a good rapport together.
Mob Rules, there's a song in there I have to ask you about, The Sign of the Southern Cross.
Well, the Southern Cross is a part of a constellation that you see in if you're in the Southern Hemisphere.
Okay, so
the Southern Cross is actually one of the symbolic parts of Australia.
So that was your inspiration. Then.
Well, I just love the word, the Southern Cross, and I thought, well, wow, Southern Cross, that's such a cool sound, and hey, this is Sabbath. Anything with a cross makes sense to me, in Sabbath, and the Southern Cross, and people don't think about that. So it was just a wonderful, once again, that alliteration that I like a lot, Southern, just it worked for me. The last in line, those kind of things worked for me in that way. So it was just that, and then I just tried to put it into the words of it having, not being just a star that you may see in the sky, but meaning something, because at a certain time, in a certain time of a certain year, of a certain decade, of a certain century, then the Southern Cross, that sign of the Southern Cross would say to you, now it's time for humanity to rise up and be productive and fruitful and good and not miserable like most things were back then. So it was only that, really. It was, and most of the songs I write tend to be a song that allows you to make your judgment as to what it is. I try not to ever point to what people say.
Run crazy with thoughts of what it could be. Wow, gather all around the young ones. They will make us strong.
Exactly.
What's that?
Exactly. Well, that's the whole point. It's what you think about.
But it made it fun. It made the music fun.
It made you use your imagination.
Yeah, it wasn't just about did it all for the nookie. I mean, that's good too. But I mean, we know what it's about.
That's other bands. That's not what I've ever done in my life. I'm a much more serious person than that. Obviously, you know that I'm not a fool. I'm a college-educated person, and I've always taken that education and tried to apply it to what I think is and could be good music. I mean, I've never seen any sense in the people who dribble and drool at the side of their faces, getting that kind of respect. I mean, maybe you only get that respect from someone who's going to go into an insane asylum, and that's not where I'm coming from.
We live in different times, though.
Exactly. And I travel in different circles than other people do. So that's just something I've always expected of myself and expected of the fans that I played for, whether it be Sabbath fans, especially DIO fans, who are the greatest fans on earth. They're the most gentle, wonderful, caring, intelligent people I've ever known. I've been in some bands where the fans we've had in those bands have been like miserable people who want to fight everyone all the time, and that's not where I come from. That's not my space of life. So, in being able to write that way and let people because right away when I write a song, I think to myself, my audience is going to listen to it are smart. I don't think, whoa, what a bunch of idiots, so I can write any piece of crap for this. Because I think to myself, they're going to know what I'm saying. They're going to know whether it's crap and whether you're an idiot. So that's always been my goal, to write things that make people use their mind a little bit. Not everyone is brilliant and bright, of course they're not. But, I like to think that they at least have that capability. And maybe in some small way, I've been able to help them, maybe through just one song, go, oh, wow, that's a good idea, isn't it? And then they can go, duh, after that if they want to.
Now, during the whole Live Evil thing, now it was in the press and it's in the history books now, that there was problems in the studio where people would go in there late at night and turn up vocals, turn up bass tracks, turn down vocals, turn down guitar, turn up. I mean,
it's all so wrong. Nothing like that ever happened. What happened was this: that I believe that after that album, Tony and Geezer probably had some other agendas.
Okay.
What they were, I never really asked, even when we got back together again. But I know that they had other agendas, and there were a lot of lot of drugs going around at that time.
Oh, okay. Because I would say
the
you
scope of
have
this
to be
band.
kind of out of your mind and on drugs to break up such a great band.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, it made no sense to me either. But Vinny and I weren't that. We weren't drugged out. We don't do that. But there was a lot of that going on in parts of the camp. So when we went to the studio to mix the live album, Live Evil, that's all we did, was going to mix it. We turned up the first day and Tony and Geezer didn't. So we waited all day long. We got there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which was supposed to be the starting time. And at 8 o'clock in the evening, no one was there. So we said, okay, I'm going home. And we went home. And we came back the next day at 2, and there was no one there. And we went home. We went the next day and 2 o'clock and no one was there. And we said, well, no one's here. I'm not going to just sit here like a fool.
You don't panic about stuff like this. You don't panic
about anything.
Those guys, I'm just sick of this. I'm getting on the phone. Look at, where are you guys?
That doesn't make any sense. If someone wants to do that, I'm not going to talk them out of it. Obviously, we knew there was a problem. So at that point, I said to the engineer, excuse me, can we hear some of this stuff now? I may as well listen to it instead of just sitting here like a lump. So Vinny and I listened to it. We didn't turn anything up. I never touched the knob at all. Even these days, after all the albums I produced, I do not go in there and deal with the faders. That's the engineer's job. I don't want him to think, he doesn't sing. He doesn't go in there and use my mic. Yeah. I'm not going to use your faders, man. I trust you what you do. We never touched the thing.
I wouldn't have been able to handle it with your composure.
Well, we handled it pretty easily. It didn't matter to me. If it was going to end, it was going to end. I didn't want it to carry on with bad feelings.
Yeah.
That could never be a band. So we would say, could we hear more of the drums? Could we hear more of the vocal? We weren't mixing it. We were just listening. We weren't mixing.
Yeah.
We don't mix until Tony and Geezer are there. We were supposed to mix it all together. So then the story got to Tony and Geezer that we were turning guitars down and voices up and drums up and basses up and down or whatever it may have been, and that was their excuse. So I got a call from Geezer, and Geezer said, this doesn't seem to be working. I said, and that is what? Doesn't seem to be working? You're not turning up or being there when you're not there? What is it isn't working? Well, it just doesn't seem to be working, so I think we should let Tony mix the album. I said, well, that's fine with me. If that's what you want to do, fine, but you realize that means the end of this, don't you? He goes, yeah, well, I think it should be. Okay, fine, and that was it. And it was over, done, finished. Never talked to them one time again until 12 years later when we got a reunion.
About that, man. It just.
Well, it was pretty hurtful.
Those kind of phone calls.
It was hurtful, but we're strong. We dealt with it. Wendy and I we got each other. We've got our talent. We can deal with it, and we did. We just went, well, how should we do this? What band do you want to put together? And we did. So it's not a problem for me. Never a problem.
Now.